You walk onto the lot on a Saturday morning. The sun is hitting the windshield of a car that has never had another owner. The salesman hands you the keys before you've even signed anything, just so you can feel what it's like to sit inside something untouched. You imagine driving it home. New paint, new smell, 0 miles. In your head, this is the smartest purchase you've ever made. Reliable, under warranty. Exactly the way you want it. Financed at a rate that felt fine when he said it out loud. You picture yourself pulling into your driveway and your neighbor coming outside to look. That's the moment you're buying, not the car. The moment. Here's what nobody in that dealership will say out loud. The second you drive that car off the lot, it is no longer a new car. It is a used car, with a new car price tag still attached to it. There isn't just one way to buy a car. There are 5, and each one carries a completely different financial outcome. First, paying cash for a brand new vehicle, rare, and the most expensive way to lose money instantly. Second, financing a new vehicle, the most common path, and the one that stacks depreciation on top of interest. Third, leasing, where you never own the depreciation, you just rent it for 36 months and hand it back. Fourth, buying certified pre-owned, a car that's already absorbed the steepest part of its value collapse, sold with a manufacturer-backed inspection. Fifth, buying private party used, the same car, no dealership markup, no F&I office, no theater. Every one of these 5 is technically buying a car. Only 2 of them are buying a financial mistake. When you sign for a new car, you think you're buying steel, an engine, and 4 tires. You're actually buying 7 separate things stacked into one number. You're buying the vehicle itself. You're buying the interest on the loan, which on a 7-year term can add $6,000 or more to the price of the car without adding a single mile to it. You're buying sales tax, which in some states adds another $2,000 before you've even turned the key. You're buying dealer documentation fees, which can run $400 to $600 for paperwork that takes 10 minutes. You're buying an extended warranty, pitched to you in a small back office by someone whose entire job is convincing you that the manufacturer's existing warranty isn't enough. You're buying gap insurance, designed to cover the difference between what you owe and what the car is worth. A product that exists specifically because new cars lose value faster than loans get paid down. And finally, you're buying the depreciation curve itself, front-loaded, so that the biggest loss happens before you've even merged onto the freeway. Let's put real numbers on this. The average new car in the United States now sells for around $48,000. The average monthly payment on that car is roughly $725. The average loan term has stretched to nearly 70 months, meaning people are now financing cars the way people used to finance houses. At an interest rate of 8%, a $48,000 loan over 6 years adds roughly $12,000 in interest alone. That's not the price of the car. That's the price of not having $48,000 sitting in cash. And here's the part that should stop you. None of that $12,000 buys you anything you can touch, sell, or drive. So where does your money actually go once you hand it over? It starts at the factory, where the manufacturer sells the car to the dealership at what's called the invoice price, usually just 3 to 5% below the sticker price you see on the window. That's the manufacturer's cut, and it's thinner than most people assume. The dealership then receives something called a holdback from the manufacturer, typically 2 to 3% of the sticker price, paid quietly after the sale, invisible to you. Then comes the financing. If you finance through the dealership rather than your own bank, the dealership marks up the interest rate they got from the lender and pockets the difference, sometimes 1 to 2 percentage points of pure profit, hidden inside your monthly payment. Then comes the F&I office, finance and insurance, where the extended warranty, the paint protection, the fabric guard, and the gap insurance are sold. These products carry the highest profit margin of anything in the entire building, often 50% margin or more. The car itself, the thing you walked in wanting, by the time it reaches you, it's often the least profitable part of the entire transaction. Here's the inversion, stated plainly. Dealerships don't primarily make their money selling cars. They make their money selling the paperwork around the car. The vehicle is the bait. The financing office is the business. This is why a salesman will sometimes seem oddly willing to negotiate down the sticker price of the car itself, because he already knows the real profit is waiting for you in the next room, where someone will spend 20 minutes explaining why you need an extended warranty on a vehicle that already comes with a manufacturer warranty covering the exact same failures. Think of it like buying the newest phone on release day. You pay full price, stand in line, feel like you got something exclusive. 1 year later, the same phone sells for half the price, with the bugs fixed and the flaws already discovered by people who paid to find them first. The car works the same way. Someone has to be the one who pays full price to discover what breaks. That person is called the first owner. And the dealership needs that person every single day, or the entire model collapses. Here's what keeps the first owner up at night, even if they don't fully understand why. New cars depreciate roughly 20% the moment they're driven off the lot, before a single scratch, before a single mile of real wear. By the end of year 1, many models have lost 30 to 40% of their original value. Compare that to a phone again. Buying it on release day means you're the one absorbing the sharpest part of that price collapse, while the person who waits gets the same functioning device for a fraction of the cost. Meanwhile, if you financed with a long loan term, you can end up in what's called negative equity, owing more on the loan than the car is worth. If your loan balance is $40,000 and the car is worth $31,000 after year 1, you are underwater by $9,000. And if the car is totaled in an accident, your insurance payout won't cover what you still owe. That gap is exactly what gap insurance is sold to protect against. A product that exists purely to patch a hole that new car buying created in the first place. There is one single variable that separates the people who lose money on cars from the people who don't, and it isn't income. It's age, the age of the car when you buy it, not when you sell it. A car that is 2 to 3 years old has already absorbed the steepest part of the depreciation cliff. Someone else paid to discover what breaks. Someone else ate the 20% instant loss. Someone else paid the dealership's F&I office. By the time that car resells, it has already shed the sharpest edge of its value collapse, and is now depreciating at a much gentler, more predictable rate, often 5 to 10% per year instead of 20 to 40. This is the exact reason wealthy, financially literate buyers gravitate toward 2 to 4-year-old vehicles. Not because they can't afford new, but because they understand that buying new means volunteering to be the person who pays full price on release day every single time. Let's run the actual math side by side. Buyer A purchases a new SUV for $45,000, financed over 6 years at 8% interest. The moment they drive off the lot, the car is worth roughly $36,000, a $9,000 loss before their first payment is even due. Over the life of the loan, they'll pay an additional $11,000 in interest. Total cost of ownership after 3 years, once depreciation and interest are combined. They've spent $56,000 to own a vehicle now worth approximately $22,000. Buyer B finds the identical SUV, 3 years old, with 30,000 miles, for $24,000 cash. No interest, no F&I office, no instant 20% cliff because someone else already paid it. 3 years later, Buyer B's car is worth roughly $17,000. A gentler, already flattened depreciation curve. Same SUV, same model, same drivetrain. One buyer spent $56,000 for an asset worth $22,000. The other spent $24,000 for an asset worth $17,000. Buyer B didn't get a worse car. Buyer B simply refused to be the one who pays full price to discover what breaks. So picture that Saturday morning again. The sun on the windshield. The keys placed in your hand before you've signed a single form. Only now you know what that moment actually costs. The car loses more value in the drive off the lot than it will lose in the next 3 years combined. You were never buying a car. You were buying the right to lose money first.